Just right now, I was listening to Tony Robbins' video. He is the only person, by the way, talks about resourcefulness. And without resourcefulness, you are not going to make it in the world. That is what he says. And I am so blessed to be working on the same space, resourcefulness. Although the thought process with which I have evolved is might be very different from how he has evolved, but what I understand is he is not a non-conformist. He doesn't stick to any process, any formula. He just evolved on his own because he listens to his heart, and that is what I have done all my life. And many of us, we, according to Tony Robbins only, if you are not listening to what I am going to say, what he says is he was asking how many people uh, have faced failures in their lifetime. Each of us has, right? And if we analyze our failures, why it was a failure, some people will say it is money. Some people will say no time. Some people will say lack of resources. Some people will say another things, right? But in the end, what what does it make? Like, say, how do you ascribe those reasons to be the reasons of your failure, right? We make up a story with each of our failures. Do you have you noticed that? He says somebody, a lady who he asked how many of them are single, and one lady stood up and he singled out one of the lady and he asked, why are you single? Did you ask anybody for lunch? He said, yes, I asked. um, what did you exactly ask? So she was saying that she asked him out for lunch on Thursday, and he says no. He said no. So it was a failure, right? And the lady thinks that it was a failure on her part. Now she was thinking. Now he asked, Tony Robbins asked, so what do you interpret of that story of this incident? She was saying maybe he didn't have time. Maybe he is not interested. Maybe he has another girlfriend. Maybe he is gay. Or maybe he is stupid. Right? So then Tony Robbins say, did you give yourself the chance that this guy might be saying no because he was completely occupied on a Thursday? Did you ask a further question? What about Friday, if not Thursday? So she didn't ask, obviously. Why she didn't ask? Because she was so put off with the first answer the guy has given that she didn't bother to ask. She assumed that he was not interested, right? Now, before coming to a conclusion, we should explore all the possibilities that is there. A human being is a human being, right? Some of us are not so very expressive. Some of us are very expressive. Some of us who are not very expressive, who do not like to speak more than what we say, or we do not find a situation or circumstance or the mindset to speak further or explain further. What does it mean? We stop there, right? And the person who is listening to us might be having the same mindset, and when two people who are like not very expressive, they are conveying nothing, they are assuming lot of things, they are presuming lot of things. They are presupposing many of the things, and they are imagining things. None of that might be reality. So we are making up stories in our head, thinking, assuming, imagining that this might be the case, this might be. We don't have any evidence besides thinking and assuming all those stories. Those are stories, right? Happening in our head, and it depends on our mindset. The amount of frustration we already have is directly, that is what the whatever we imagine is directly proportionate to the level of our frustration. So if we are positive, if we are positive, then this story will be different, because we'll ask two more questions. If she would have been positive, she would have asked him, explored him further, whether the person would be interested to go out on a date on Friday, right? There is a possibility, 50-50 chance, of course, because none of us was there when the lady was talking to the person in front. The possibility happens so because the lady, she must not be, she might not be asking everybody on lunch, right? So each of us get introduced to each other, know something about the interest, the friendship level, the level of intimacy, that after that only we ask the other person to come, we request, or we invite the other person to lunch or dinner, right? If that is so, how come all of a sudden you think that this person was not interested? Do you know, right? And after that, what happens? Because you have designed this story within yourself, the story stops your way, stops your progress, right? If that progress is stopped, then you are back to your previous position. You didn't make any progress, right? And your story continues. It will be, say, another story, and when the next, this chance, the chance that is in front, that you have let go, right? That you have let go. So one failure added to your list of things, right? And then, because this is labeled as a frustration or a failure, the next time you will be asking somebody out for lunch, you, this story will play back back of your head, right? Back of your head, and you'll again behave. Maybe you will ask lesser question, not to hear the no, right? So, with lesser question, if whatever question you have already asked, with that, if you have not figured out entirely what was the situation, nobody is there to counsel you that might be there were other possibilities, then this time with lesser questions, you will even have lesser probability of success, right? So, you see, this. This possibility of failures grows up with each experience, because the story is negative. Story the mind is playing is negative. Now, if we change the story, right? Some people may be really, may really be not interested. But first, remember where you started from. You started from the situation where you were fairly introduced to another person, and the person has shown some kind of interest, because of which you ask the person out for lunch. So if you remember this, with this amount of groundwork, you have a fair chance of success. Or even if the person says no, if you ask two more further question, he will reveal something else. He might be revealing his interest for another person. That is okay. That is a possibility, of course. But with this, you will have the chance of a friend. Or do you think that you don't need a friend also? Right? Are you not looking for a friendship? Friendship which is long term? Friendship means nowadays people interpret friendship in a very different way. Friendship is not about the man and woman affair. It can be very close knit friendship of lifelong where one person supports the other. That is what I am talking about, right? And if your story changes, you will ask more questions. That is the practicality of it. But somehow you will ask more questions, you will be more supportive, you will be more inquisitive, and that makes you jump to another state. Your mental state will become very positive. You don't bother whether the other person says yes or no because you are in a very, very higher state. Everybody will want to be associated with you because you belong to another state of mind, a very positive person, right? If you are a positive person, not frustrated because of some other failures, because those were not failures, those were half-hearted ventures from you. And we hardly acknowledge those half-hearted ventures to be uh, to be some kind of lack of preparation or say lack of energy from us. So if we recognize this, so the first thing is when you change your inside story, it changes your vibration. It it takes takes you to another level. You start being inquisitive. You increase the possibility of being successful in another venture, and then you come to another state where you make friends with your positivity, and with that you can also meet your soulmate. This discussion is not about soul meeting your soulmate only. It is about success in any field that you desire, anywhere you have faced a failure before. So this is how Tony Robbins explained the situation with live examples. So if you like this example, if you are facing some kind of situation like this, we can discuss in a one-to-one call, or say you can come to my webinar, the regular webinar, wherever I discuss all these things. One-to-one will be better because you might have some very personal questions, um, very personal questions which will be very different from other people. Might you have this uh, fear that people will judge you, like say many people will not understand, all of them might be in the same mindset, might be in a failure mindset, maybe in negative mindset. So we can discuss it further. And if you like this video, then you can like my channel also, and you can reach out to me for a one-to-one. This is Sangeeta signing off. I'm a leadership growth mentor. Thank you.